The fury of Hurricane Harvey hitting the US state of Texas. Streets are deserted as tens of thousands of people shelter from the high winds and rain.
Catastrophic, epic, disastrous. Words used by city leaders to describe what's happening in Houston. And this is just the beginning.
This is just day 2. We anticipate day 3, day 4.
The city of more than 2 million has come to a standstill, with people warned to stay home, even if water is inside their house. The message from city leaders to trapped residents: don't call for help unless your life is in imminent danger, because so many others are trying to get through to the emergency services.
They had to put the babies on air mattresses. People were carrying babies on their shoulders. All I could grab was my wallet and my phone. That's all I knew to grab. I didn't know to grab nothing else.
Emergency shelters are filling up around the city, with people lucky to have escaped with their lives.
Mightiest prophet of the Lord.
Amen. Now, listen, Pastor Sophie, the Lord has spoken with me. The Lord Jehovah has shofet. The Lord, the judge, he has spoken with me today. The Lord, the judge, that you see in the book of Judges, chapter 11, he has spoken with me today about a tremendous event that is about to take place on the earth. I see a place, and this place, this is the United States of America. So at that place, all of a sudden, a phenomenon takes place. I see something like a tornado, a cloud of tornado, like a funnel of cloud, something like a tornado, a cloud of tornado. And then all of a sudden, it became water flooding. We were afraid as we ran, water flooding. Then water appeared and began to flood, chase us. So we began to run. I ran towards the hill. So I ran towards the hills because the water was coming full speed to flood everything else. These are the homes that were ahead of me here where I was. So there is a tremendous distress that is coming. A wonder it is in the United States of America. High speed flooding the homes, and we were running away. So I went towards the hill. I ran towards the hill. I began to run towards the hill. So I ran towards the hills because the water was coming full speed to flood everything else. And there's emergency care people announce people get evacuate with microphones announcing.
Tonight, along the Texas Gulf Coast, utter devastation. In the town of Rockport, entire blocks are decimated.
We have nothing left.
And Amanda Evans is shaken. She was caught in the eye of the storm.
By 1 o'clock, it was terrible. It was I was crying. I was on my knees praying that we made it.
Her home gone. Harvey barreled ashore overnight, packing 130-mile-an-hour winds, blinding sheets of rain, and a treacherous storm surge.
We have been praying for quite a while now for the eye to pass over so we can get some kind of a break.
You can see it for yourself. We're being hit by a pretty significant band from Harvey as it is making landfall here about 50 miles, as you mentioned, south of where we are. We're here in Port Lavaca. There is Lavaca Bay just in front of me here, and that storm surge from Harvey is pushing water from the bay this way.
All right, this is bad.
The Category 4 hurricane is the strongest to hit the U.S. in 13 years, making landfall twice. Now, search and rescue efforts are underway. The Coast Guard called in to rescue at least 3 tugboats stranded offshore.
We want to do everything we possibly can to keep people out of rising water.
The whipping winds ripped roofs off buildings. Power lines snapped, sparking massive explosions. Electricity knocked out for at least 300,000.
Our town was destroyed, and it hurts.
On the Bolivar Peninsula, 3 homes burned to the ground.
was pretty scary. It felt like 150-mile-an-hour wind.
KXAN meteorologist David Owuor rode out the storm at this Rockport hotel, designed to withstand a Category 5 hurricane. But overnight, an entire wall collapsed.
The owner's a little nervous because half of the building's apparently missing. We're just taking our first look at it.
You can see the town.
Today, the hotel's manager showed us a view he never expected.
This would have actually been the wall that you can see that is still literally hanging. It just kind of flipped over on itself, and half of it ended down there.
But the cleanup can't begin just yet. Harvey has already dumped several months' worth of rain on the region, and the storm is far from over.
I see a place, and this place, this is the United States of America. So at that place, all of a sudden, a phenomenon takes place. I see something like a tornado, a cloud of tornado, like a funnel of cloud, something like a tornado, a cloud of tornado, and then all of a sudden, it became water flooding. We were afraid as we ran.
Because we're going to go inside.
Tonight in Houston, the immediate threat is not catastrophic flooding, but tornadoes. This one reported in North Houston, while another south of town devastated the Roddy family home. At least 50 homes damaged, gaping holes in roofs, windows shattered, trees uprooted.
And all of a sudden, I felt boom, 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 and boom.
85-year-old Rosa was fast asleep.
And what did you think? What did you see? Was it pitch black?
Jesus, help us. That's what I said. I said that because I was afraid.
But tonight, the worst in Houston is yet to come.
The water was coming full speed to flood everything else. These are the homes that were ahead of me here where I was in the United States of America. High speed flooding the homes, and we were running away, so I went towards the hills.
Finally tonight, as the rain starts to come down here again, the flooding catastrophe in Houston, several deaths have now been reported.
Lester, good evening. This neighborhood where rescues are happening nonstop flooded more than 10 feet in areas in mere hours, an example of the disaster and its fury. Back in southeast Houston, Frank Pena woke up surrounded by water.
All the beds, everything, furniture.
All gone.
All gone. Everything's gone.
He moved into this apartment just 3 days ago. This bayou is usually nearly empty. Within a matter of hours, it's 30 feet overflowing into these apartments, and all these people are trapped.
I see something like a tornado, a cloud of tornado, like a funnel of cloud, something like a tornado, a cloud of tornado, and then all of a sudden, water appeared and began to flood, chase us. So we began to run. I ran towards the hill. I began to run towards the hill. So I ran towards the hills because the water was coming full speed to flood everything else. So there is a tremendous distress that is coming in the United States of America. High speed flooding. So I ran towards the hills because the water was coming full speed to flood everything else. There's emergency care people announce people get evacuate with microphones announcing.
Lightning?
Rescue teams are fighting to evacuate hundreds of people in Texas.
We need help in Fifth Ward. We need people here to evacuate people. Get people here now before they die.
Rescues continued throughout the night in Houston, the country's fourth largest city in crisis.
The water came up so fast. It was incredible.
Emergency management officials are asking the public for help, saying they need more boats for rescues as roads have turned into rivers. The geography in Houston not helping the situation. Rainwater is forced onto streets, then onto small bayous, easily overwhelmed by heavy downpours. First responders are stretched so thin, neighbors are pitching in to help rescue others from the devastating floodwaters. Other desperate residents are being plucked from their rooftops, some by Coast Guard helicopters. Choppers from as far away as San Diego and Cape Cod have joined in rescue efforts.
That person's on their roof. They've been yelling help and hello for the last few minutes.
Many residents having trouble getting through to 911 as the system has been overrun with thousands of calls.
It is a colossal rescue effort. Thousands stranded, taken by boat and helicopter, saved using anything that floats. Their faces tell the story of anguish, anxiety, and fear. This is now a mass evacuation. Tens of thousands of Houstonians suddenly displaced. In Fort Bend County, south of Houston, they arrived by the truckload at a Kroger. Shaken, even terrified, and heartbroken. Many flocked to the city's primary evacuation shelter, the George R. Brown Convention Center. What may be the worst catastrophe this city has ever seen. The rescues have been non-stop all day.
There is a tremendous distress that is coming in the United States of America. High-speed flooding, and we were running away because the water was coming full speed to flood everything else. There's emergency care people announce people get evacuate with microphones announcing.
Extended Market Street's now a lake.
Prepare the way. I have seen the Messiah coming. May those who have ears or lovers hear now turn away from sin. This is he about whom the scriptures wrote, that the Lord shall send a messenger to prepare the way for the Messiah.